You mix with DJ Ice.
Ready, ready.
Yeah, baby. Come on. Baby, it was uncool to love me.
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
Standing here now without a goodbye. And maybe I am the fool you call me, 'cause I'll be standing waiting to hear you say to me, I'm ready, now I'm ready to love you, forever. Hey lover now, come love me forevermore. I'm ready, now I'm ready to love you, forever. Hey lover, come love me forevermore. Sometimes when I'm alone, I feel sad. I know you leave me once again and take my pride. And maybe I am
Ready.
call me, yeah, 'cause I'm being standing waiting to hear you say to me, yeah, I'm ready to love you forever. Hey lover now, come and love me forevermore. See, I'm ready to love you forever, baby. Hey love now.
Oh God,
Yes, that's how now we represent for the girl them. Anyway, we got the girl them.
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
First thing Monday morning, I'm gonna pack my tears away. Got no cause to look back, I'm looking for me a better day. See, the thing about love is that it's not enough if the only thing it brings you is pain. Comes a time when we could all make a change, darling. Just let go, let it blow, let it blow, let it go. Everything's gonna work out right, you know. Just let go, let it blow, let it blow, let it go. Just let it go, baby. Don't nobody want no broke heart. Don't nobody want no two-time losers. Oh no. Ain't nobody gonna love me like you are if you take whatever he brings your way. Oh no, no, no. See, the thing of it, we deserve respect, but we can't demand respect with a change. Comes a time when we must go our own way. Let love, baby, let it flow. Everything's gonna work out right, you know. Let go, baby. Let it flow. Just let it go. Oh yeah. Sometimes love can work out right now. Sometimes you'll never know. But it brings you in your life.
You weren't the only cause, so was I. And I dreamed of you ever since. Now I build up my confidence that next time you come my way, I know just what to say. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name.
Well done. Well done. Killing machine, this number one color. Well done. Well done. Well done.
I started to write you letters, but I wanted to be more clever. I wanted to get down and sweet talk you, baby. But just like a baby, I could not talk, and I tried to come closer, but could not walk. And I think of it every night, how I just could not get it right. Oh, if we ever come close again, I know what I'll say then. Yeah. Can we talk, baby? Can we talk for a minute? I wanna know your name. Can we talk for a minute, baby? I want to know your name. Oh, girl, one more chance with you again. I'll be there.
Oh God, oi, oi, oi.
Call me up and I came to see you. You say you've been awake all night. It hurts me deep inside when I see you crying. Whatever's wrong, I'll make it right. If you understand how I feel, ooh, you should know that my love is real. Oh, tell me, what do you want me to do? My love is always there for you. Oh, tell me, what do you want me to do? My love is always here for you. So tell me, what do you want me to do? Tell me, girl. There were times that I didn't show it, just how much I care for you. I'm so sorry. Don't keep saying it's too late to think it over, baby. After all that we've been through, girl, I'm begging you, I'm down on my knees. Don't walk away, baby, please don't leave
You
me.
Mix with DJ
What
As.
do you want me to do? My love is always there for you. Don't even have to think about it.
Ready?
I don't know what I'd do without you. I only know I live and I breathe for your love. Baby, you came to me in my time of need, when I needed you.
baby. Suddenly from nowhere, baby, you appeared. You dried my tears. You cared for me. Maybe your love for me rescued me. It's because of you I was able to fall in love again. You gave me someone to love, someone to touch, yeah, someone to hold, someone to know, someone to know. Oh, you gave me someone to trust, someone to hold, someone to know. So long in my life I wouldn't let love inside, but I swallowed my pride. From day you run, now with you by my side, everything is alright. It's because of you I was able to keep my own again, girl. And you gave me someone to love. She gave me someone to love. You gave me someone to love, someone to love. And you gave me someone to know. She gave me someone to know. You gave me someone to know, someone to know. Oh, yeah.
Well done, well done, well done.
Ready? Dogger!
Girl, it's been a long, long time coming, yes it has. But I know that it's been worth the wait, yeah. It feels like springtime in winter. It feels like Christmas in June. It feels like heaven has opened up its gates for me and you, yeah. Every time I close my eyes, I thank the Lord that I got you, yeah. And you got me too. Every time I think of it, I pinch myself, 'cause I don't believe it's true, yeah.
Oh God, oh, oh, oh,
Put me through, yeah. Yeah, 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 babe, yeah. Ooh, girl, I think that you truly Boy night.
You in the mix.
I couldn't face the truth with you because I didn't want to lose my clout. I always have been good to you, girl. I promise you that nothing has changed. Momentary insanity must be the reason why I did you that, baby. So now I'm telling everybody that I know it was a fool to take a chance of ever losing, and I can't take losing you. So I'll never keep it secrets, and I'll never tell a lie. I won't make it up to you. No, I'll never keep it secrets, girl. I only wanna be with you. I didn't wanna lie to you, but I didn't wanna let you down. It never did occur to me sooner or later that you are loved. You know how much I care for you, and I would never want to cause you pain. I know that there is no excuse. How could I ever treat my baby that way? That's why I'm telling everybody that I know I was a fool. But I don't give a damn about it, 'cause I wanna get back with you. And so I'm never keeping secrets, I'll never tell them no. I wanna make it up to you. Yeah, no, I'll never keep it secrets, 'cause I swear I only wanna be with you, baby.
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
Well done, well done, well done.
Oh God, oi.
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
Close your eyes, make a wish, and blow out the candlelight. For tonight is just your night. We're gonna celebrate all through the night. Pour the wine, light the fire. Girl, your wish is my command. I submit to your demands. I will do anything. Girl, you need only ask. I'll make love to you like you want me to, and I'll hold you tight, baby, all through the night. I'll make love to you when you want me to, and I will not let go of you till me to. Let's go slow. I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm just gonna concentrate on you. Girl, are you ready? It's gonna be a long night. Throw your clothes on the floor, on the floor. I'm gonna take my clothes off to you. I've made plans to be with you.
We represent for the girl them anywhere where the girl them follow.
Boy night.
I will never find another lover precious than you, precious than you, the girl you are. Close to me, you like my mother. Close to me, you like my father. Close to me, you like my sister. Close to me, you like my brother. You are the only one. You're my everything, and for you, the song I sing. You're my life. I pray for someone like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. All my life, I pray for someone like you. And fall in love with a stranger. You're all I'm thinking of. I pray the Lord above for sending me love. I cherish every hug. I really love you. Baby, baby, pray for someone like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. All my life, I pray for someone like you. And I hope that you feel the same way too. Yes, I pray that you do love me. You're all that I ever know. When you smile on my face, all I see is a glow. You turn my life around. You pick me up when I was down. You're all that I ever know. When you smile, my face glow. You pick me up when I was down. You're all that I ever know. When you smile, my face glow. You pick me up when I was down. And I hope that you feel the same way too. Yes, I pray that you
Darling, I can't explain. Where do we lose our way? Girl, it's driving me insane. And I know I just need one more chance to prove my love to you. And if you come back to me, I'll guarantee that I'll never let you go. We go back to the days our love was strong.
Oh God, oh,
Can you tell me how a perfect love goes wrong? Can somebody tell me how to get things back the way they used to be? Oh God, give me no reason. I'm down on bending knee. I'll never walk again until you come back to me. I'm down on bending knee. So many nights I dream of you, holding my pillow tight, and I know that I don't need to be alone. When you open up my eyes to face reality, every moment without you, it seems like eternity. I'm begging you come back to me. We go back to the days our love was. Oh, baby, can you tell me how a perfect love goes? Can somebody tell me how to get things back the way they used to be? Oh God, give me the reason. I'm down on bending knee. Never walk again until you come back. I'm down on bending knee.
baby, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for all the wrong I've done. Please come back home, girl. I know you put all your trust in me. I'm sorry I let you down. Please forgive me.
I'm gonna swallow up my pride. Say I'm sorry. Stop pointing fingers. The blame is on me. I want a new life, and I want it with you. If it feels the same.
Oh God, oh,
Mr. Sonia, we represent the girl that anywhere we can gather.
Don't have to believe I lost her. No, I'm down on my knees, begging you, please.
Memories, that is all I'm taking.
oh God, oh,
Bittersweet memories, that is all I'm taking with me. So goodbye, don't cry. We both know I'm not what you need, and I will always love you. I will always love I hope life treats you kind, and I hope you have all you dreamed of, and I wish you joy and happiness. But above all this, I wish you love. And I will always love you. I will always love you. I will always love you. Darling, I love you.
Betty!
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
Sorry, I've never told you all I wanted to say, and now it's too late to hold you, 'cause you've flown away, so far away.
Never had I imagined you living without your smile, feeling, knowing you hear me. It keeps me alive, alive, and I know you're shining down on me from heaven. Like so many friends, we've lost along the way, and I know eventually we'll be together, together once we patiently to see what happens.
Darling, I never showed you.
I never showed you.
Assumed you'd always be there.
I thought you'd always be there.
I took your presence for granted, but I always cared.
But I always cared.
And I miss the love we shared. Shining down on me from heaven, like so many friends we've lost along the way, and
Mix with DJ Ice.
You've been on my mind.
Ready?
I wrote
Well done.
myself in time. Just thinking of your face, God only knows why it's taken me so long to let my doubts go. You're the only one that I want. I don't know why I'm scared. I've been here before. Every feeling, every word, I've imagined it all. You never know if you never try to find and simply be mine. I dare you to let me be your one and only. Promise I'm worthy to hold in your arms. So come on and give me the chance to prove I'm the one who can walk that mile until the end starts. If I've been on your mind, you hang on every word I say. Lose yourself in time. At the mention of my name, will I ever know how it feels to hold you close and have you tell me whichever road I choose you'll go. I don't know why I'm scared, 'cause I've been here before. Every feeling, every word, I've imagined it all. You never know if you never try to forget your past and simply be mine. Dare you to let me be your one and only. I promise I'm worthy to hold in your arms. So come on and give me the chance to prove I'm the one who can walk that mile until the end starts.
Lord God, Lord
I
God.
know I have a fickle heart and a bitterness and a wandering eye and a heaviness in my head. But don't you remember, I had no idea. When will I see you again?
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
Yet with no goodbye, not a single word was said. No final kiss to seal any sins. I had no idea of the state we were in. I know I have a fickle heart and a bitterness
good, Lord good, Lord good.
Everybody loves the things you do, from the way you talk to the way you move. Everybody here is watching you, 'cause you feel like home. You're like a dream come true. But if by chance you're here alone, can I have a moment before I go? 'Cause I've been by myself all night long, hoping you're someone I used to know. You look like a movie, you sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time that we might be exactly like we were before we realized we were sad of getting old. That made us restless. It was just like a movie, it was just like a song. I was so scared to face my fears, 'cause nobody told me that you'd be here. And I swear you moved overseas. That's what you said.
Ready?
When you left me. You still look like a movie, you still sound like a song. My God, this reminds me of when we were young. Let me photograph you in this light, in case it is the last time. This was all you, none of it me. You put your hands on my body and told me. You told me you were ready for the big one, for the big jump. I'd be your last love, everlasting, you and me. That was what you told me. I'm giving you up, I'm forgiving it all. You set me free. Send my love to your new lover. Treat her better. We gotta let go of all of our goals. We both know we ain't kids no more. Send my love to your new lover. Gotta let go of all of our goals. We both know we ain't kids no more. I was too strong, you were trembling, you couldn't handle the hot heat rising. Baby, I'm so rising. I was running, you were walking, you couldn't keep up, you were falling down. There's only one way down. I'm giving you up, I'm forgiving it all. You set me free. Send my love to your new lover. Treat her better. We gotta let go of all of our goals. We both know we ain't kids no more. Send my love to your new lover. Treat her better. We gotta let go of all of our goals. We both
Well done, well done, well done.
Boy night, boy night.
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
When the rain is blowing in your face
Lord good,
and the
Lord good.
whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, and I could hold you for a minute make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, but I will never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, and I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love.
This is us how now we represent for the girl them anywhere we go to get them for them.
Boy, night.
Hello, babe. How have you been doing these past few years? You can't catch my voice, and you're saying you really don't know who it is. Can't you tell it's me? I used to whisper sweet things in your ear. Can't you tell it's me? We used to make love so tenderly. Remember how we used to talk and take those long and lovely walks in the park. We would sit down on the bench and make plans for the future in the dark. Can't you tell it's me? Ooh, it's me, it's me, it's me. Can't you tell it yet? Ooh, how soon we do forget. Is that a baby? Oh, so you got married. Say you want me to do what?
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
Ready?
One more time, I can never get enough.
This is us how now.
Know that you
Killing machine this from one column.
Ready, ready, ready,
way
ready.
that you want. So love me tonight.
You in the mix with DJ Ice.
You see that sound now? We represent for the girl them. Anyway, we got the girl them follow.
Boy night.
Stuck on you. I got this feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. Guess I'm on my way. I needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you till the end. Guess I'm on my way. Mighty glad to stay. On you, I've been a fool too long. I guess it's time for me to come on home. Guess I'm on my way. So hard to see that a woman like you can wait around for a man like me. Guess I'm on my way. I'm mighty glad to stay. Oh, I'm leaving on that midnight train tomorrow, and I know just where I'm going. Pack up my troubles and I'm rolling on away. But this time there's no doubt I'm coming home to stay. I'm stuck on you. Got this feeling down deep in my soul that I just can't lose. Guess I'm on my way. I needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you till the end. Guess I'm on my way. Mighty glad to stay. Stuck on you.
You held me in your arms. Stealing, stealing. You held me in your arms and made love to me. Yeah. You, my heart's desire. Your lips caress me. Your body possess me. And I'd keep you if I could. The time would stand still and leave us dreamless away. You know what?